Andy, how much are you relishing this Hampden showdown? How is everyone feeling?
Yeah, we're all good. Obviously, quite a quick turnaround. Travelled back yesterday. Credit to the staff behind the scenes. They've done pretty much everything to try and make sure that our bodies are ready as best they can be for the game. So yeah, we're now on the eve of it. It's tomorrow night, and one more sleep away, and I think we're all excited. Obviously, we've got a chance to qualify for the World Cup, which you can't play down. So I think all the lads are excited. But yeah, we've got to be ready to perform tomorrow night as well, and I hope that the boys will be.
How do you get that balance between the excitement and the energy that you have for it, and the desire you have for it, kind of challenging it in the right way, if you like?
Yeah, it's up to us to get that balance right. When you look through the whole squad, we've played in a lot of big games in terms of cup finals, league deciders, big games for Scotland to try and qualify for Euros and things like that. So we have played in the big games. We've got that experience, but there's no playing down this game. It's obviously a massive game for us, and we know what a win would do. So it's exciting. Of course it is. I think everyone in the country would have bit their hand off for a playoff at the start of September. I don't think anyone wouldn't have, and the fact that we've got that in our back pocket is a positive. But just now we're 90 minutes away. Obviously, if the result doesn't go our way tomorrow night, we go back to 180. So it's a strange one. So the closer we are, the closer we want to get. And 90 minutes of football away from going to the World Cup is something that is exciting, and it's something to relish as well. And I hope everyone inside Hampden gets excited for it, because it's up to us to try and perform, and it's up to them to try and help us as well.
What are you expecting from the Danish team? Obviously, they suffered a shock to many people, that draw against Belarus. What are you expecting, and how are you expecting them to respond from that?
They're a fantastic team, a team full of quality, a team that's pot one for a reason, a team that's used to qualifying for tournaments. And as it stands, they're obviously going to the World Cup because they're in first place as it stands. So, it's obviously up to us to try and take away what they have at the minute. So I think they're a very good team with quality all over the pitch, and we know that. We've played against them, obviously, last World Cup qualifying campaign, and obviously we've played against them away from home already, and they caused us problems, which you expect with the quality they had. But we had a little bit of luck that night, but also, defensively we stood up strong as a whole team, and we're going to need that again. But, we also have to cause problems, because, we obviously need to score one goal at least. We have to win the game, and if we do that, we know where that takes us. So it's going to be a tough game, no denying that. We're playing against the pot one team. It's always tough against them, and we need to be we need to bring the best version of ourselves, and if we do that as a team, then we believe that we can get the result that we need.
Andy, what happened on Saturday kind of fueled this theory again that maybe someone's smiling in Scotland, things are falling our way in this campaign, and it's in the stars that we'll go to the World Cup. As a footballer, can you believe at all in stuff like that, or is that kind of dangerous territory?
No, I think it's dangerous territory. I don't think I really, believe in that, but I think what it potentially, now I'm not defending the performance, but I think what it did show was Belarus are a very good team in this. We probably got the toughest pot four team in the whole qualifying campaign. I don't, obviously I can't remember every team in pot four, but Belarus were no mugs. They were an extremely difficult team to play against, and they obviously showed that at Hampden, and they've obviously showed that again away to pot one team. So I think that also, obviously there was huge frustration after that game in terms of, the reaction from you guys, from the fans, from ourselves as well, from in our changing room. And I think, you can't, points are points. You need points on the board, and we managed to get 3 points that day. So a lot's been said this campaign. Some negativity at times, and maybe some justified and things like that. But we're sitting here with 10 points just now. We're 1 point behind first place, and we know that we're 90 minutes away from the World Cup. And I think if we perform the way I believe we can perform and the way we've shown at times, maybe not for a full 90 minutes, but we've definitely showed it over periods of time in this campaign, then I believe we've got enough to get the win. But on the flip side, Denmark will know that they've got, they believe if they perform to their best, they've got enough to win as well. So we're excited for tomorrow. The lads are ready. We'll be ready to give it all. We hope the fans are ready inside the stadium to get behind us, no matter what. There might be setbacks, there might be frustrations and things like that. But I think, all I can say is get your seats early, get behind the boys, make a noise, make it, an incredible atmosphere for these lads, and then hopefully we react off that.
Yourself and so many other players have done so much in the game, Andy, but what would this mean? Try and sum that up, to be captain of Scotland at World Cup.
I don't like thinking about it, and that's the honest answer. I hope I can talk to all of you tomorrow night and tell you what it means and what I think about. But obviously I've been very lucky to play in Champions League finals. I've been very lucky to win trophies and things like that. But the one thing I've probably been good at throughout my career is I've never thought about it until it actually happened. So I'm excited for the game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to the fact that we've got a one-game shootout to get to the World Cup. And that's what I'm pleased about. And like I said, hopefully if that then does happen, then tomorrow night I can tell you how I feel about it.
We just talk to all the different players. Whenever we speak to them, it's always about the bond of the squad and how tight they are and the togetherness. As the captain, what would be your kind of final message to them going out to chance to create history?
I think it's just about, try and, embrace the opportunity that we've been given. Like you said, we're an honest group of boys. We're a fantastic, it's a fantastic squad to be a part of. It's a privilege to be their captain. I think I've got it pretty easy because, they're such good lads, and, they make my job as captain, easy. There's never any egos, there's never any problems. And, look, I'm one of the proudest things in my life is being captain for these lads. And I just think it's about, trying to take the opportunity that's given to us. I think we've done a lot in this campaign so far. We've got points on the board. We've secured the playoff, which, like I says, a lot of people would have accepted at the start of September, and now we've got a chance to not need the games in March. And I think that's something that is something to look forward to. So the lads will be ready. We'll all be ready, and hopefully if we can perform to our best, then it can be a special night at Hampden.
Andy, you mentioned that experience of Champions League finals, league deciders. Is this feeling you've got now ahead of this game comparable to what you were feeling on the day before those games? And what's that actually like? How nervous are you the night before a game like this? How do you try and guard against that?
I'm not sure it's nerves. I think it's excitement. I think I've always said that I've always been, been quite consistent as to what I say. Playing for Scotland is always that level up. It's always, when I was younger, I didn't have dreams of playing with Liverpool because I didn't know where my career was going to go, but I did have dreams of playing with Scotland. And I think everyone can say that, like John didn't have dreams of playing with Villa, he had dreams of playing with Scotland. And I could go through the whole list, but the one thing what nationality you are and things like that. So it's always a level up anyway. But I don't think, as we all sit in the hotel tonight, I'm not sure it'll be nerves. It'll be excitement, and then tomorrow it will kick into work mode. The whole country will be on edge. The whole country will be going through the motions tomorrow. I've got no doubt about that. But it's up to our squad to deliver. So we have to kind of go into work mode. We have to switch that on in our heads. And I think throughout all of our careers, we wouldn't be here today if we couldn't do that. So it's up to us to do that. It's up to us to focus on the performance, focus on how we are going to try and break down a really good Denmark team. And, like I said, if we do that, then hopefully we can all have a big smile on our face at the end of the game.
Andy, in terms of the performance tomorrow, how determined are you as a group that no matter what happens, you leave everything out there and you don't have any regrets on Wednesday morning?
Yeah, I think that has to go with everyone in Hampden Park tomorrow. I think the players will certainly go in with that mentality in terms of leaving everything out there, and I've got no doubts that the Danish team will have the exact same thoughts. But I think as fans as well, what I would say is just leave everything out there, support your team right to the end. Like I said, get in early, make a noise, support your team, and get right behind us, because that's what we need, and but also they need us to give them something to react off as well. So it's up to us to perform. It's up to us to leave everything out there like you do. But I think this group of boys has always done that in a Scotland jersey. I don't think the work rate, I don't think that's ever been questioned. I might be wrong, but I don't think it's ever been questioned. We run our socks off. We always have done. And then it's up to us to just try and add that quality in the midst of that, and try and, obviously try and win the game.
I was just going to ask about Ben Doak as well. I mean, you talk about nerves. He seems pretty fearless in any game. Is he like that? How do you expect him to approach a game like tomorrow?
Yeah, look, obviously, I've seen Ben from a young age. He's a great kid. Still got so much potential within the game. Still so young within the game as well. And yeah, I thought last half hour against Greece he really kicked into gear. I don't think the first 60 was up there with best from what I've seen of him, and I think he'll be first to admit that, and that's why I've got so much time for him. I think he's his biggest critic at times. Probably reminds himself of me a little bit younger, but I think I'm a bit smarter than him. No, look, and then I thought half an hour he obviously got the goal, got the confidence from the goal, and then started causing problems and things like that. And but we need all our front men to, whoever plays, we need all our front men to be able to cause their defence problems, because obviously the result away from home was a really good result and a 0-0, but that's not enough tomorrow night. We know that. We know we need to win the game, so we're going to need somebody to step up, and we're going to need everyone defensively to step up as well to try and keep a clean sheet, or certainly to make them score less goals than us.
And as you said, you were once just a kid with a dream of playing for Scotland. Can you really believe, is it set in that tomorrow you're going to be captaining your country on your 90th cap for Scotland, with a chance of qualifying for a World Cup?
Again, I don't think too far ahead. Obviously, the fact is it will be my 90th cap, which is a huge honour for me and my family. So yeah, for me, it's massive. The fact that it's going to be my 90th time playing for this country. I couldn't even imagine that when I was younger, or even when this when I made my debut and this journey kind of began. So that's a huge honour for me, and yeah, it's nice that it goes along with a pretty big game as well, and I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that my 90th cap will be the most memorable. That's what I hope. I hope that we kind of, as a squad, it's one of the most memorable games for all of us, and that's what we all dream of, and hopefully that sends us to the World Cup. But we're not overly thinking about too much of it. We need to focus on the task at hand. We need to think about how we're going to stop a really good Dane team, and also how we're going to try and cause some problems. I think that's where our full focus has got to be for the next 24 hours.
Andy, you mentioned a couple of times about the fans inside the stadium, but I mean the whole country is going to be glued to this game tomorrow. That must be a hell of a feeling itself, that everybody's going to be glued to their televisions and throughout Scotland for this. Yeah,
I think pub and bar owners were probably delighted that Belarus got the draw. I think obviously we know they'll all be busy, and we know Hampden will be a sellout and packed. So we've been very fortunate, going to Euros and things like that and feeling the whole country behind us, because it's not always been the case, rightly or wrongly. But in terms of going to the Euros and things like that, and massive games that we've played in, we've always felt the love from the country. We've always felt people behind us, and obviously we only landed back last night, but even walking through the airport, seeing people out today, everyone's wishing us well, everyone's wishing us good luck, and they hope we can do it. And it's a massive thing for all of us to feel the love from the country, and knowing that they're right behind us, and we definitely feel that today, and we'll definitely feel that tomorrow, and it's up to us to hopefully deliver for all of them.
Andy, your Hampden backstory is fascinating enough. You worked here behind the scenes as a kid. You're a bit older, you play for Queen's Park. But see, back then, did you ever allow yourself to dream that there would one day be a scenario where you could play for Scotland here and qualify for a World Cup?
I think just thinking about playing with Scotland was enough at that time. I don't think then I took it as, probably I didn't take my thoughts as far as qualifying for a World Cup. But look, when I was younger, I always had the dream of playing for Scotland. That was always my dream. I used to come and watch them now and again, and I always wanted to be on that park, and to be able to fulfil that is amazing. I know how fortunate and how lucky we all are. you know, how many people were sitting probably same age as me that had the same dream that didn't quite achieve it. You know, I know there'll be a lot. So I know that we're very lucky and very fortunate to be able to do it, and I think that's why we never take it for granted. Every time we pull on the shirt, whether it's my 90th cap, whether it's somebody's 50th, whether it's somebody's first or 10th or whatever, I think we always don't take these chances for granted. When you put on that Scotland jersey, it's, you know, it's such a special feeling, and you know, we know that everyone in the squad feels that, and we know how much of an honour it is to pull on that shirt, and it's up to us to try and deliver in the shirt as well.
The couple of World Cups that have passed in your time at Liverpool, seeing your teammates go off to that and watching them perform at it, is that something that you felt you've really missed out on when you've seen them there and not been able to experience it with Scotland yet?
Yeah, the last one probably been the toughest. You know, with them being in Qatar, I think we were on a mid-season break in Dubai, so we were pretty close to them, watching all the games and things like that. And I was looking around, and there wasn't many of us. There wasn't many of us in the room. Obviously, most of them were at the World Cup, and a few missed out in injury. So we all sat and watched the games and things like that. And yeah, you obviously want your country to then be a part of that. You know, I think that's what drove us forward for the Euros. You know, I mean, there was a lot of times where we'd watch the Euros and Scotland weren't there, and it was up to us to try and change that. And thankfully, we've done that twice. The World Cup's the one that's still not happened, obviously, since 1998, and you know, it's up to us to. It's now our turn to try and, you know, stop that long wait, and we have the opportunity tomorrow, and if that doesn't work out, then at least we've got the opportunity in March as well. So we do have 2 bites at it, which is a pleasing thing. But yeah, it would be great in the summer to have Scotland, and more importantly, the Tartan Army going over to America, and yeah, that's what they'll all be excited about. But again, we need to focus on the game tomorrow, and you know, hopefully after that, then we can maybe start planning things if that's the case.